Razavan for FightHype.com with me. I've got Sky Sports' very own Johnny Nelson.
Not just me, look at these people here. Booyah! That's like, I'm like, this is just for a workout. Look at the crowd here, these guys are like, and there's a massive queue outside as well, just for a workout.
Obviously, just before I start, Johnny, good news all over Twitter today that Nick Blackwell.
Yeah, definitely. You know, fighting through and through. It's one of the mishaps in our game. Big up to the medical staff that were there to make sure they act fast. And that was down to the British Boxing Board of Control, making sure these things are covered. These are one of the pitfalls in our game. I thought the referee did a great job. I thought how it was handled was a great job. Remember, boxing, I think we're ninth in the most dangerous sports. And this was just one of those occasions where you know what can happen in the sport. But I'm so glad Nick's pulling through. He's talking to his family. I'm sure his family is so relieved. I'm sure Chris Jr. is so relieved. The boxing world is relieved as well. And I think he'll come round and. I bet he'll even want to fight Saturday night. He'll be sat there watching thinking, I want to fight, but that's how it is.
Johnny, obviously, you've been a boxer yourself. When you put someone in hospital, and it's not intentionally that it was done by Chris Jr., does it have a psychological effect?
I'll tell you the truth. And when you're boxing, you will think about it. If you have done that to somebody, you will think about it. But I honestly think you probably better off asking Chris Senior about this, because Chris carried on a box after that. I personally think if you think too much about it, you will then think like a civilian, and you better walk out of the game. You can't think like that, because if you do think like that, every time you hit somebody, every time you're hit, this is going to be a negative, what you don't need when you're fighting. You can't afford to think like that as a fighter. Junior can't afford to think like that as a fighter. All he can do is train hard just to make sure it doesn't happen to him. But he can't afford to think like a civilian, because if he starts thinking like that, he needs to walk away from the game. And I know it sounds barbaric, I know it sounds militant, but you can't think like that.